So good.
Kate made a fáilte Rovisteach. You're all very welcome indeed once again in this the year of 2021. Can we welcome all our friends, fans, and supporters around the world of our music and song, and welcome to our 35th show. Can I also say how pleased we are to have today all smiling young wolf tones, all happy to be here and presenting music and chat to you over the next couple of hours. So sit back, relax, enjoy yourselves. And our special guest today is a man who's blazed the trail of performing great songs, great folk music, and great ballads from Ireland. Roy Buckley will be along later on to share the music and song with us. And we have a wonderful show lined up for you. We have some great songs, some old ballads, and of course some new songs as well. So we're going to start off with a song, Canisha Skelge. Agus tam Kinta ta Gaeilge.
We'll talk about Derek first. We'll talk for the crack.
Yes. What have you got for us, Andreas? Come on, tell us.
I swear to God, I'm absolutely
are you stuck for words?
I am, because, you know...
That's impossible. Blah, 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 blah. That's easy for you to say.
I know, yeah. See, I'm the only one that understands my language, you know?
Yes.
I know, we get you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been often thought actually that we do need interpreters for folks that come from Cavan, you know.
Yeah.
Because they do have a different.
Yeah. Sure, absolutely, yeah. I
can see everybody except Milo. Is Milo there?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's very quiet, Milo. What's?
Yeah.
I'm here. Milo. I'm here. Hang on.
Well,
I'm just.
There you are.
Hello. Sorry, you just shared.
I didn't recognize you.
Sharon's Karen, Milo.
Yeah, Milo. Tell us what you're sharing, Milo. What would you like to share?
Not a whole lot now, right now.
Well, everyone, we're all glad to see. We're all glad to see the end of 2020. It's been a horrible year for anyone in the entertainment business, in the travel business, in the hospitality business, and we just hope that 2021 brings a lot of new and normality back to our lives. And I think that will be shared by everybody. But we particularly like to welcome, indeed, a new thought. And suppose when we go back to normal, it'll be a new normal. It won't be the same again as it was, because there are so many things that the COVID has changed in our lives. So, here's to the songs, and I hope the songs will always be there. The entertainment will always be there, and the music brings indeed hope and cheer to all our friends and fans around the world. So, are we ready to start, Morris?
No. Okay. All right.
So our joke of the week, that's going to be a new section, folks, and we've got special birthdays going out every week, and we got everything's new this week except. I don't know. I'm lost for words still. Can anyone help?
We missed you. Are you trying to get at? Did we miss your birthday, Andreas? Is that what you're getting at? Is it?
Oh, let me tell you, I'd gladly take 5,000 stars from different people.
I'm sure you
helps in January.
Right, absolutely.
Yes, my birthday was the 29th of December. And
you'll be celebrating till April.
I celebrated from October last year.
That's right.
Sorry, October 2019. That was it.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was the lovely age of 41. I'm getting old.
You don't look it.
Thanks, Cork. Love you too. Oh, Lord. Milo, you haven't reached that era yet.
No, I'm looking forward to it though. Catching up on you, you know.
It's amazing the amount of people tell me that I look younger than you.
I wouldn't blame them.
It's a hairy situation, that, Milo.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
yeah, Milo's playing catch.
I'm trying to make up for it on the other side of my face at the moment.
Well, it takes me half a year to get there.
Can I just say to all the people watching your antics there that we haven't we've gotten the opportunity over the last couple of months to record a lot of songs, and we'll have a new CD, a DVD, and an LP out for the spring. So we haven't wasted our time during the COVID. We've got an opportunity to create a lot of great new music, and we'll be playing some of that for you this evening and showing you some of the videos. But I think it's worthwhile mentioning to many people watching this evening that, our lives have changed so much, but there's also an upside to that. We get a chance and an opportunity to collect more songs, to be creative and write more songs. And we've spent a time, I think, a very valuable time in creativity. And I think, Merlo, you've written some wonderful ballads, and we've created some lovely videos, and some of them will be shown to you over the next couple of weeks. But we're going to start off our show this evening with a wonderful ballad that was written by Padraig Pearse, Ora Sheda Vahawalya. And he wrote this song in the language that he loved, in Gaelic. And of course, the Gaelic language is one of the oldest languages in Europe. But it's also worth remembering that it's a language through which much of our ancient history and through which much of the teachers and professors taught the rest of Europe. The Gaelic language, its power and its influence was spread all over Europe. And of course, the language of academia would have been Latin, but the folks who wrote in Latin would have been all Gaelic speakers. And it's a very important part of our heritage. And Padraig Pearse recognized that. And he wrote this song based on an old tune that was very much popular with meetings and with people celebrating great events. The tune was part of a ceremony that was held when people would get married. A month after the marriage, they would reassemble, and a song would be sung to this air, to this tune. So it was it was very well known throughout Ireland, and Padraig Pearse recognised that, and he wrote it as a marching song to bring his volunteers and asked them to sing a song in Gaelic. So here it is, and join us and enjoy it. Oro Sheda Vahawalya, Keon Scríomh Padraig Pearse, the Uglig na Héireann, an Dort Féine.
Sheda Vahawalya, Oro Sheda Vahawalya, Oro Sheda Vahawalya, Anisher Hotton Tauri. Sheda Vahaban Varim Vadavaya to the Hingivian Buhigvra, Ishal Merlock, is to deal to Lesh Nagolav. Oro Sheda Vahawalya, Oro Sheda Vahawalya, Oro Sheda Vahawalya, Anisher Hotton Tauri. Biella Diana Varkovegan, Manami Bio in the Eagles Shotton, Granuel is Milagashi, Ek Fogert Fine a Gulliv. Oro Sheda Vahawalya, Oro Sheda Vahawalya, Oro Sheda Vahawalya, Anisher Hotton Tauri. Tagran you wail a hitchaktar salia, Ogligar Mahale Morgada, Gaelic Fane, ni Frankie Naspanig. It's a rugat there Nagal. Oro Shedavaha Walia, Oro Shedavaha Walia, Oro Shedavaha Walia, Anisher Hotton Tauri, Oro Shedavaha Walia, Oro Shedavaha Walia, Oro Shedavaha Walia, Anisher Hotton Tauri.
Lovely. Nice song to start us in.
Yes.
The
Well
first
done.
song for
Yeah, well done,
2021. And I can't believe now we first recorded that back in April 2020. Can you believe that?
Yeah, wow.
It was one of our first Zooms. And I want to just play that because to remind folks that when we were off the road in March, we found Mr. Zoom was the medium to which we could all rejoin together and play music. That was one of our first attempts at doing so. And although it probably shows the amateur way we approached it, it's a reminder that we were not going to be silenced, that we were going to play and sing our music and connect with our people around the world. And I'd like to thank all those folks who've supported our shows through 2020 and just remind them that we're very grateful for that support. Thanks. Over to you, Damaris, and to you, Mila. Maybe you have something to add.
Go ahead, Damaris.
Sure, what are you waiting for?
Thanks, Milo.
What
Says
would you, Milo?
So I'm sorry. I'm catching up on the comments and I'm trying to pin stuff here. So
But just with our next song is going to be a wonderful ballad from Andreas, "Come Down from the Mountains," Katie Daley, and we recorded this one last year during the summer down in Kennedy Castle. Again, we were locked down, locked out, and locked up in the castle.
Well, some of us should have been locked up.
So anyway, Kay Whelan is watching in. Joe Jones is watching in. Kevin Richards says greetings from Argentina. Mike Palmer is watching in. Geraldine Cottle is back as always. Fair play to her.
Hi, Geraldine.
Yeah, so there's where we are. Anyway, I'm catching up the last few comments.
Well, Andreas, tell us about Katie Daly, and Andreas, tell us about Katie.
She had a great Christmas, that I do know. She kept drinking and she's at the whiskey and she's still drinking. I on that end haven't drank too much over Christmas, so I left it to Katie. Yeah. But no, we all know your funny and great story, Derek, about this song. Yeah. And it's very true. Always is very true. It's very, very true.
Don't believe a word of it.
No. No, don't be saying things. Don't be saying things like that. But, no, it's always a great song that gets everybody going at the shows and stuff like that. So I enjoy it. I think we all enjoy it. So
I think it's fair to say in its simplicity, it's a wonderful ballad because it reminds us all that where other nations had to do things legally, we couldn't. And it was all we were making our fun whiskey legally, but Katie was smarter than them all, and she did. She made a whiskey and she made it big. She Mr. Jack Daniels, and she made him a household name all over the world.
Absolutely, like you're making all of us household names all over the world.
So you got it there, Damaris.
I have indeed, yes. Eileen McManus is watching in. Matthew Whedon is watching in. He's watching for the first time. Mary's watching in Detroit. Fair play to Mary. She watches in every single week. And here we go again with Christopher Kelly is watching in. And we'll ask Jimmy Buckley is listening from Philadelphia. And thanks to everybody that share, and Pierce is watching in from next door. Thanks to everybody that's sharing the page and keep sharing and get the word out there. So
absolutely,
we're back.
Oh, jeez, we were back last 2 weeks. I didn't see anyone in the last 2 weeks. Nobody was watching 2 weeks. I must have been doing the show on my own.
I think you were actually. Right, here we go. Katie.
Oh, God. Get up on the floor, folks, and start the dancing.
Yep.
Now, Offaly has a long association with people making whiskey, and sometimes illegal whiskey. And Katie Daley was one of the famous ladies that came from very close to here in Tipperary, County Offaly, because they're very, very close. And she made great whiskey. It became so popular that the excise people in London said, we want to get our hands on her recipe for the whiskey. But Katie was a smart lady. She escaped, went to America, landed in Philadelphia. She didn't like it too much. She went down to Tennessee, and she was walking up the street in Nashville, and she met this fella, and they fell in love. He said, who are you, lady? She says, I'm Katie Daley from Ireland. Who are you? And he says, my name is Jack Daniels. Oh boy, she says, have I got news for you? And she gave him the recipe, and the rest is history. And here's to tell the story in music. Andreas and come down from the mountains, Katie Daley.
Come down the mountains, Katie Daley. Come down from the mountains, Katie do. Can't you hear us calling, Katie Daley? We want to drink your Irish Mountain Dew. All right! Come down the mountains, Katie Daley. Come down from the mountains, Katie do. Can't you hear us calling, Katie Daley? We want to drink your Irish Mountain Dew. But her old man Katie came from Tipperary in the pioneering year 42. Her old man, he was shot in Tombstone City for the making of the Irish Mountain Dew. Hey, come down the mountains, Katie Daley. Come down from the mountains, Katie do. Can't you hear us calling, Katie Daley? We want to drink your Irish Mountain Dew. Wake up and pay attention, Katie Daley. I'm the judge that's going to sentence you. All the boys are going to drink your whiskey. And to tell the truth to you, Katie, I drank some too. Hey, come down the mountains, Katie Daley. Come down from the mountains, Katie do. Can't you hear us calling, Katie Daley? We want to drink your Irish Mountain Dew. All right! So off to jail they took poor Katie Daley. But very soon the gates, they opened wide. An angel came for poor old Katie Daley and took her far across the great divide. Hey, come down the mountains, Katie Daley. Come down from the mountains, Katie do. Can't you hear us calling, Katie Daley? We want to drink your Irish Mountain Dew. Well, at the Golden Gates there stood for Katie. St. Peter said, good brewers, they are few. So step inside the Golden Gates, dear Katie, and start to brew your heavenly Mountain Dew. Hey, come down the mountains, Katie Daley. Come down from the mountains, Katie do. Can't you hear us calling, Katie Daley? Irish Mountain Dew. Everybody, come down the mountains, Katy Daley. Come down from the mountains, Katy Dew. Can't you hear us calling, Katy Daley? We want to drink your Irish Mountain Dew. 1, 2, 3. Come down the mountains, Katy Daley. Come down from the mountains, Katy Dew. Can't you hear us calling, Katy Daley? We want to drink your Irish Mountain Dew. Can't you hear us calling, Katy Daley? We want to drink your Irish Mountain Dew.
Yep, lovely. Well done, guys.
Man, Andreas, fair play to you, mate.
Yeah, good man. Lovely.
Yeah,
great stuff.
Great song.
Come back from the mountain, Andreas.
Sorry.
And it's great to see Wayne in that video. We all talked with Wayne. I know he's still in hospital, but I'm sure he's doing the best he can. So
Absolutely.
know the bit about him.
Yeah, our best wishes for a speedy recovery to Wayne there, who's unfortunately in hospital there over the Christmas. So we hope it's not long until he's out playing music again and with us all. Yeah, please God. And
Please God, yeah.
yeah, last October we got the opportunity to go into Talbot Street to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the murder of Sean Tracy, and it was a wonderful occasion because we had a big event planned for that day, but of course due to the COVID we couldn't go ahead with it, and we were curtailed to the amount of people we had to commemorate the event. But Sean Tracy was such a powerful Irish patriotic figure that we felt it necessary to remember his life and the life he gave for Irish freedom and liberty. So we went into Talbot Street, and I'm very proud to say that we remember the occasion, and we're still hoping that over this year, 2021, that we can have some commemorative statue erected to him in the city, as his presence in our fight for independence was so important to both the struggle and to the people of Tipperary and of course of all of Ireland. So Milo, you sung this next song. It was written by another great Irishman, Charles Kickham, a great Fenian man who spent much of his life in prison. In fact, he wrote this song in prison, and it's a great ballad. Some would say it's very close to being the anthem of Tipperary, the Valley of Slievenamon. And I think you enjoyed singing it, and particularly on the occasion. And I should tell our people that last year, when Tipperary in 2019, when they won the All-Ireland Hurling Championship, we played on the day of that championship because there's a very old tradition of Tipperary people coming to Talbot Street to commemorate Sean Tracy's death anytime they've ever been fortunate enough to perform and to play in a hurling final. So Milo, thanks for singing the song. You did a wonderful job on it, and it's not always possible to do that in the live circumstances that we had in Talbot Street. So here's the Valley of Slievenamon.
Thanks, Derek. Enjoy, folks.
The Valley of Slievenamon is a beautiful song. Charles Kickham spent many years in prison. His only crime was the love of his country, but he left us a beautiful legacy of the songs he wrote and the poems that he produced. And here is one of his finest songs, The Valley of Slievenamon.
Alone, all alone, by the river by night and by day, to the times and the joys that are gone. But I never will forget the sweet maiden I met in the valley of Slievenamon. Oh, it was not the blaze of her beauty hair, nor her cheeks of the roses blown, nor her soft black eyes, nor her glowing hair, nor was there her lily white brow. Was the soul of good and the melting room, and the smile like a summer's gone, and that stole my heart away on one soft summer's day in the valley near Slievenamon. In the festive hall, by the star was shore, oh, ever my restless spirit cried. My love, oh, my love, will I ne'er see you more, and my land, will you ne'er override? By night and by day, I ever pray, while lonely my life goes on. Oh, to see your flag unfold, and my true love to enfold in the valley near Slievenamon. Oh, to see your flag unfold, and my true love to enfold in the valley near Slievenamon.
Lovely, Milo.
Thanks very
Lovely,
much,
well
everyone.
done,
That's great.
guys.
Yeah. Thanks for all lovely
Very
comments
good.
there as well. Appreciate it.
Yeah, lovely.
Good comments, yes. Thanks very much, everyone. Okay.
That was a great thing. I know that was a difficult thing, Milo, for you to do, and to go in there and setting up the microphone, and it reminded me of back in the 60s when we used to play gigs like that all the time. But I wanted to say thanks very much, because it was nice that the date and the his life didn't pass away without commemoration. So thanks to you all.
Absolutely, and there's lots of nice comments there as well.
Yeah.
Ira Scott says it's great to have everyone back together. So wait till we're really back together.
That's it. Yeah.
You're all stopping us.
No stopping us, that's for sure. Okay, what day is today?
The 8th of January, yes.
January.
Yeah.
Today is Elvis's birthday.
And Elvis's birthday, yes.
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 So we have Galway to Greystown coming up later.
He said he would have been 86 today, but I'd say Comic would say he is
I beg to
86
differ.
today.
It is 86 today. Absolutely. Good.
Are you going down to celebrate with him, Cormac?
I know you might call me later. We'll see.
I'm telling you, we need to dedicate a show, just the whole show, to Cormac and his story.
Yes.
About Elvis.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I
All
think-
will be
I think
revealed this year. Put it that way. Yes.
Teddy Z says the facial hair game is strong, man. Look at you all. Yes, you both got beards tonight.
Yeah.
I don't have a beard.
Jesus. I was going to say they're trying to say something to Maris. Thanks, sake. How dare they? How dare they say that about our?
She did say men. She did say men. She didn't.
Okay, right. Okay, well, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Okay. New Orleans. Are we good to go? Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
we're ever ready. We're like the batteries.
The 8th of, also known as the 8th of January.
In 1814 we took a little trip along with Colonel Jackson down the mighty Mississippi. We took a little bacon and we took a little beans, and we fought the bloody British in the town of New Orleans.
We fired our guns and the British kept it coming. There wasn't as many as there was a while ago. We fired once more and they began a running down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico.
Take them by surprise. If we didn't fire a musket till we looked them in the eyes. We held our fire till we seen the faces well, and we opened up our spittle guns and really gave them hell.
We fired our guns and the British kept it coming. There wasn't as many as there was a while ago. We fired once more and they began a running down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico.
They ran through the briars and they ran through the brambles, and they ran through the bushes where the rabbits couldn't go. They ran so fast that the hounds couldn't catch 'em on down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico.
We fired our guns and the British kept it coming. There wasn't as many as there was a while ago. We fired once more and they began a running down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico.
An alligator and we fought another round. We stuck his head with cannonballs and powdered his behind, and when we shut the fire off, the gator lost his mind.
We fired our guns and the British kept it coming. There wasn't as many as there was a while ago. We fired once more and they began a running down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico.
Mighty so.
Yeah. A very appropriate song for today, and the 8th of January there, about the Great Battle of New Orleans back in the 8th of January 1850, and remembering indeed that particular battle led to the freedom of America, because it was then not going to happen that the British forces would retake the colonies. And it should be remembered that that battle took place after a treaty had been signed between England and the United States. But important to remember that Pakenham, who was the general in charge of the attack on America, he was told, if he was successful in the battle, to ignore all previous treaties. Now, I could talk for the next half hour about that battle, but we'll hand you back to Damaris, and that's for all our listeners over there in Louisiana, celebrating the Battle of New Orleans.
Very good.
Lovely.
Donna D is watching in there from St. Pete's. How are you doing, Donna?
How are you, Donna?
Robert Donovan. Happy New Year, Andreas, Durkin and crew.
Hi, Robert. Happy New Year to you.
Marianne Keeney Stevens says the war had already been over when this battle was fought.
Yeah, I just said that, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And I reminded people that what a lot of history books won't tell you is that he was told to ignore all previous treaties if he was successful in the battle. So it is of great importance.
Yes. Jesse Hines says, I love that song. It was banned in Britain, but in Scotland we fought it before it was banned. We sang, they fought the bloody limeys in the town of New Orleans.
Yeah, actually, he was a man from Glasgow that recorded in England, Lanny Donegan, and I met Lanny Donegan on many occasions, and he was a great guy. He sung all sorts of ballads and folk songs, and a wonderful person. He came to Ireland many occasions, and I had great chats with him, and I loved his version of the song. It was very good, and he loved it too. And we talked about the battle and all its significance. So, God bless Lanny Donegan.
I remember a song was one I liked as well called the Rock Island Line. I don't know if you remember that one.
Oh yeah, that was one of his too, and he had lots of fun songs, and Dudes Are Chewing Gum loses flavour on the bedpost overnight. There's another one of the songs there, but of course it was Johnny Horton that wrote that first popularized that song in America, and Johnny Horton, and of course the man that wrote it was a school teacher from Arkansas. And he wrote it. He wrote it to stimulate an interest in history of his pupils, and of course he wrote it based on an older ballad that had been around for. There was lots of songs and ballads written about that battle. My God, we could be talking about it all night. Move on there.
There's too many battles going on at the moment. We won't even go there.
Okay, a couple of tunes there called the Fox Hunters. The last one is called the Fox Hunters Reel. So here we go.
Lovely.
Well, folks, I have a real treat for you here. No folk band, no ballad band would be complete without a banjo player. And we're very fortunate in the Young Wolf Tones to have the best banjo player in Ireland. Playing the tenor banjo, Damaris Woods, excels in that instrument that has brought so much joy to people all around the world. Not only is Damaris a wonderful musician, but she's also a wonderful teacher. And you don't often get the two things together. So we're going to play a tune for you now and enjoy it. It's called the Fox Hunters Reel. And the Fox Hunters Reel, if you listen closely, you can almost hear the foxes screaming to get out from the sight of all the hounds that are following them. So here's the great Fox Hunters Reel, featuring the great banjo playing of Damaris Woods from County Meath.
Almighty.
Yeah.
That's some crack.
Where would you get it? On fire, Damaris.
On fire, Damaris. Yeah, absolutely incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Love that song.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's an awesome track, yes.
Willie Brogan from Killaloe. Hello to all in Killaloe from Willie Brogan in Cashel. Play me something for my birthday, which is January the 12th. So there you go.
Very good.
Yeah, well, there we go. Birthday wishes. Happy birthday there to all the folks. I know we had a birthday, Elvis's birthday. We talked about that. Yes. So, what else have you got?
Willie says that's the only fox hunting that's going on in Ireland at the moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the only hunting of any sorts that's going on in Ireland at the moment.
Oh, now, Andres.
In every sort of the word.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I was talking to someone last night. We had to hear the conversation. Hunting was involved. I won't go into it.
Well,
we weren't talking about animals.
Yes. So, Andreas, let me tell you, you can look forward to every Friday now. For
hunt.
shows, yes. Yes. Yeah. So, what have you got next, Damaris?
Rocky Road to Dublin. I think Roy Buckley is going to come on, pop on then and join us. So.
Yes.
Oh, should we may all take a break when Roy comes on?
Well, Roy and Derek have a lot of catching up to do. I'm going to let him in now. And
jeez, I think I might put on the kettle.
Here we go.
Kate Miller Fáilte, Tá Fáilte Rove Stock. Boys and girls, we have a real treat for you this time in the wonderful song that was written by a Galway poet, D.K. Gavin. He wrote great songs, and he wrote this one about exiles and immigrants and the very difficult journeys that they had to emigrate to America during the 19th century. And this song became hugely popular because there was a very famous music hall singer, Harry Clifton, who made it popular all over, indeed, both Ireland and the island of Britain. And the song, indeed, became so popular across the world that every generation knew it. So when I was growing up in Dublin, I knew this song, and it was a song and a great favourite of the balladeers in the 60s, 70s and 80s. So here it is, song indeed by our own Milo and the Rocky Road to Dublin.
Well, in the merry month of May, now from me home I started, left the girls a tune so sad and broken hearted, saluted me father dear, kissed me darling mother, drank a pint of beer, grief and tears I smothered, and off the reef to Cork, leave where I was born, cut a stout like torn to banish ghost, and got us a brand new pair of brogues, rattling over the bogs, clanging all the dogs, on the Rocky Road to Dublin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the Rocky Road, all the ways to Dublin, whack full Aldi in Mullingar at night I rested limb so weary, started by the leg next morning bright and dearly took a drop of the pure, keep me hard from sinking, but that's the paddy's cure. Early night for drinking to see the lassie smile, laughing all the while, and me curious style set your heart a bubble and asked if I was hired, wages are required, I was almost tired on the Rocky Road to Dublin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the Rocky Road, all the ways to Dublin, whack full Aldi Rock. In Dublin next arrived, I thought it such a pity to be so soon deprived of views of that fine city, but then I took the stroll, all among the quality bundle it was stole. In the neat locality something grasped me mind, when I looked behind no bundle could I find, upon me stick a wobbling acquired and for me rogue, and me Canucks broke, wasn't much in vogue, on the Rocky Road to Dublin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the Rocky Road, all the ways to Dublin, whack full Aldi Rock. Hey, no tree go. and there we got away. My spirits never fail and landed on the quay just as the ship was sailing. Captain at me roared, said that Norham had he when I jumped aboard. Cabin bound for Paddy down among the pigs, play some hearty rigs, dance some hardy jigs. The water round me bubbling when the Holyhead, wish myself for dead, there before instead. On the rocky road to Dublin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road, all the ways to Dublin, whack Pulaldy. The boys of Liverpool, when they safely landed, called me set the fool. I could no longer stand it, blood began to boil. Temper I was losing, poor old Erin's Isle. They began abusing her army, so says I, Lily I left like, all my boys went by. I saw I was a-hobbling with the loud array, giant in the affray, quickly cleared the way. On the rocky road to Dublin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road, all the ways to Dublin, whack Pulaldy. Ain't no tree go. Rocky road to Dublin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road, all the ways to Dublin, whack Pulaldy. Hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road, and all the ways to Dublin, whack Pulaldy. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning, way up she rises, way up she rises, way up she rises, early in the morning. Put him in his cover with the hosepipe on him, put him in his cover with the hosepipe on him, in his cover with the hosepipe on him, early in the morning. Way up she rises, way up she rises, way up she rises, early in the morning. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning. Way up she rises, way up she rises, way up she rises, early in the morning. Put him in the bed with the captain's daughter, put him in the bed with the captain's daughter, put him in the bed with the captain's daughter, early in the morning. Way up she rises, way up she rises, way up she rises, early in the morning. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning. Way up she rises, way up she rises, way up she rises, early. Let's hear that banjo. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning. Way up she rises, way up she rises, way up she rises, early in the morning. Way up she rises, way up she rises, way up she rises, early in the morning.
Oh, mighty stuff. Hey. All right, thanks for singing along, pal.
Hate me to fault you. Welcome, and incidentally for Joe Sullivan there, he sent me a text. The man who wrote the Battle of New Orleans was Jimmy Driftwood. Apparently I didn't mention it, but anyway, there you go, Joe. And this time it's a very special welcome to our guest, Roy Buckley, a man who's blazed the trail of the balladeers and told the stories of people through his music and song. You're very welcome, Roy, to our show, and indeed, Kate made a fault you.
Thank you very much, Derek. How's it going, everybody? And Happy New Year to you all.
Jesus, Roy, you sound like you've been gigging all Christmas.
You wish you sound like me, so shut up, all right? I'll put a muzzle on you before I'm finished, Andreas.
That's very nice, Roy.
How's everybody?
We know how to mute you.
They don't know. They didn't find out to mute you yet. That's the problem.
Family show, Roy. It's a family show.
Listen, it's a tough year for all of us. I mean, I'm watching the show all night. I've checked into a lot of your shows, but you know, the crack and the banter that you have and that we all have, you know, when you meet our pals on the road or in Ireland or abroad, wherever we are, I really miss it too. And I can't wait to even catch up with all the messers as well, whenever it's going to be. But just, you know, we're all missing it. And it's great that, well, I suppose we have the online platform to do this. But
thanks to Mr. Zoom. Thanks, Mr. Zoom.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not the same as the real thing, you know. But,
no.
I look forward to getting back to that as whenever it's going to be. But fair play to you guys for keeping this going. It's very professional the way you do it, the chats and the songs coming in and the education, of course, from Derek. Every time I meet Derek, I know you spend more time on the road than I ever did, but every time I meet Derek, I say this all the time. When I leave his company, I'm always after learning something. Would you agree on that? Like, I mean,
absolutely,
you know,
absolutely.
Always, you know, he's like an encyclopedia. I'll tell you a very quick, funny one. I don't know if Derek is going to be happy with me saying this. But,
this show, we want to welcome you, Roy. It's about you, right? Roy Buckley is from Cork. You're a Cork man, Roy, and a very proud Cork man. And I know that you have stories, I'm sure, from Cork, and you've recorded. For those of you, our listeners that have now seen Roy perform or haven't heard his music, he's performed many times in America and across Ireland, and has been very successful with many of the songs that he wrote and recorded. And so tell us about those, Roy, and tell us about, you know, your love for the music and the portrayal of our history and events in our ballads, which is so important to our Irish heritage. Tell us about your take on it.
Well, okay, I will. But to maybe sum it up, I know that the Clancy brothers meant a lot to you too, Derek, because we had a conversation about those in Florida. First of all, folks, Derek Warfield and Damaris, they've been very good to me because he gave me a start in America with a lot of the gigs around the place, and I'm very thankful for that. Actually, I did an interview recently for the Irish Examiner, and they asked me how did I start in America. And I was quite happy to tell them it was because of Derek Warfield in Vegas and Florida and other places too. But we often spoke about it. Just to answer your question, you told me before, Derek, about how the Clancy brothers and Tommy Macon were brilliant. And they were. Their gig was a show, you know, with the poetry and the songs. And Liam Clancy said this, just to get back to your point, was the history books are the propaganda of the winner, is what Liam Clancy said. And the folk songs are of the people of the time and all that. And that's why I love all music, but first and foremost, I'm a balladeer and a lover of folk songs. And that's why maybe I'm drawn to it so much, because it's real, you know, and there's heart in it. And I grew up on that, you know, like when my pals used to be buying the latest pop records, I used to spend time down the Coal Key in Cork going through the albums, picking up, let's be serious, Wolf Tones, Furies, the Dubliners, Jim McCann, Paddy Reilly, you name it. Like that's where my heart was. And if I picked up an album and I had 9 of the 10 songs on it, and I didn't have that one song, I would buy it because I wanted to know what it was. And then, you know, that was when I was a kid. And then as I grew older, I get more of the meanings in the songs. I'm no greater man to put a meaning to a song than yourself, Derek, you know. But it was always in my heart, the ballads and the folk songs of our country. But
and you've recorded some songs recently. Tell us about them. I was very interested to hear of your ballads that you recorded over the last couple of years, and particularly the one that about the homelessness. I thought that was
the old man on Patrick Street. Well,
yes.
Man, I was blown away by that because I hadn't put out a song for quite a few years, and I put out the old man on Patrick Street in June, and it did very well. It got to number 2 in the Ireland Top 100 and all that. But one of the, like, I got a call from a guy called Roy Sweeney. He has Royal Music in San Francisco, to say he wanted to put the Old Man on Patrick Street forward for the Grammy Awards. And it was one of those phone calls where going, yeah, good one, you know, see you later. And he said, no, I'm serious. I love the song. And he did, he put it forward. And that was great, you know, for an Irish folk song. That was on the 4th of July. I remember that because it's American Independence Day. And then he called me up on the 30th of September and said, your song has made it on the ballot for the Grammy Awards. You know, the first round voting, you know. Yeah. And I was so proud to see an Irish folk song go so far in the Grammy process. No, I didn't make it to the final 5. Taylor Swift and all these other people got there before me. But nevertheless, to see an Irish folk song go so far in the process was one thing. And then Phil Coulter called me up and said, you got to come up and do a version of your song with me up here in my lockdown lounge. Very proud to do that too. I mean, Phil's written so many great songs for Irish artists and international stars, you know. But that was another thing. The song's been on quite a journey. But the topic of homelessness is something that even writing the song, it's got to be very delicate, you know, when you're writing a song about people like that. And even here in Cork, we've got a penny dinners who are around for so long, you know, helping out, you know, people who are down on their luck. And it's about making the song, or the whole topic really, about making it see the person and not the problem, if that makes sense. Nobody starts out in life to end up living on the street. So, you know, something happens somewhere along the line for them. And the guy in my song, he's totally fictional. There is influences of guys I would have saw around our city here in Cork. And just for any of your viewers and your followers, it's called the Old Man on Patrick Street because I wanted to give the song a location. And I thought, well, no better place to start than my hometown of Cork. And the main street in Cork is St. Patrick Street. And I know homelessness is a worldwide topic, and it's not just here nationwide in my country. It's everyone's country, really, you know. And if the song can, you know, shed some light on it and maybe make people even just throw a couple of dollars or euros into a guy's cup or something, well, you know, that's better than where it was before that. And I suppose that's what the message in the song is, Derek.
Very good.
I remember playing it for you. You were a guest in one of my song collector sessions with Tavares. So
in Cork, yes, yeah.
And the Black Donnellys were on it too. And I remember doing the song, and afterwards you cornered me and said, I really like that song, you know. So and that meant a lot to me too, you know. That again,
it's a wonderful thing, you know. I never realized homelessness back in the 70s, early 80s. I was in New York, and there was a great man, Father Benedict Rochelle, and he opened soup kitchens and for homeless people in New York. And having been down there and talked to many of the people who were there, I realized that it's from very different backgrounds you find people in those situations, and it's you know, it highlights it to actually visit, and then, you know, so you don't know. There's no easy blueprint for people that end up in those in situations on the street. And it's your song, you know, it's a difficult problem to deal with at any level, but if your song brings extra attention to it, it reminded me, I remember back in the early 60s, we used to campaign for the rights of travelers, or there was what were called then tinkers, to have a permanent place to settle. And you know, it brought attention. We couldn't do the problem was too great for any of us to solve. But by singing about it, we could bring attention to the problem, to people that could do something about it. And what you've done is very good. And
well, Woody Guthrie said that, Derek, you know, about folk songs are supposed to stir the haughty, or whatever you want to call people in power, basically. And Woody Guthrie said that, you know, that's what a folk singer's job is to do, is to make people feel uncomfortable and to make them look at the problem, you know. And I'm not trying to be the savior. I made a social comment on it, you know, but And if the song can help that, well, great, you know, like what more can you do, you know? But that's what folk songs are supposed to do, you know.
Yeah, we're going to listen to that song now. Are we, Damaris, you have that there? And
Indeed, we're ready to go. Here we go.
Thank you. Here's a song called "The Old Man on Patrick Street."
There in the rain, all the lines on his face showing his pain. Nothing to live for and nothing to gain. Every day in his life is all just the same. For the old man on Patrick Street, he's walking the streets day and night. His hands all wrinkled and his hair is snow white. A champion fighter one time in his life, but nobody cares about old boxing fights. He's the old man on Patrick Street. And darkness falls, no one hears him call. Of the night, tonight he sleeps alone. How can we do this to our own? Sweet Jesus, won't you look down tonight? He had a rough life from the start. When his wife left him, it tore him apart. But he found a new lover, keeps him warm in the dark. She's Nancy Whiskey, he keeps her close to his heart. He's the old man on Patrick Street. I saw him last weekend, man, he got old, worn out clothes and his story untold. Asleep on a bench out in the cold, Nancy beside him, the woman in gold. He's the old man on Patrick Street. And darkness falls, no one hears him call, but the moon and the stars of the night. Tonight he sleeps alone. How can we do this to our own? Sweet Jesus, won't you hear him tonight? I passed by today by that old man's bed. An empty whiskey bottle lay there instead. Someone left flowers and a note that read a short message remembering the dead. For the old man on Patrick Street. For the old man on Patrick Street.
Well done, Roy. Incredible.
Well done, nice and Roy.
Fantastic, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Great song, man.
Roy, can I?
It's
Yeah,
a
go ahead,
pleasure.
Derek. Yeah.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show, and I want you to stay with us for our next song because we're going to.
Before you,
something-
Derek, before you go in there, can I ask a question? Roy, where do you mind me? I never came across you before. I've heard about you. Did you come out? Did you come as a solo act all the time, or were you with somebody? Or sorry, I don't mean.
Not at all, man. Not at all. No, well, I was lucky as a teenager. A musician in Cork called Jimmy Burns used to play in trad sessions and stuff. He used to bring me along to a regular session that used to happen on a Thursday night in a bar called The Residence on Blarney Street. So I've been playing trad sessions since I was a teenager, and you know, you pick up some of these songs and everything. I used to try and learn, 4 or 5 new songs for the next week, and in a way you built a repertoire. But I was playing in trad sessions, but I've mostly been a solo. But I'm lucky enough to have worked with so many of the Irish greats, like guys who I've no problem saying this, like people I admired growing up. Derek is one. I remember Derek and Damara stepping up on stage with us in Florida. Phil Coulter, Pete St. John, Finbar Fury, whoever. And I call myself very lucky and honoured to have, because like that's an education that you never get in a book or from a college or whatever. But I've mostly been a solo, but I would collaborate with a lot of different people, if that makes sense, Andreas.
Yeah, no, fair play. No, I said I knew of you, and I'm being serious. I knew of you, but I never heard you singing until there now. So
right.
Fair play.
Right? Did you know of Andreas?
I tell you, we've all heard Andreas, not heard of him. We've all heard him.
Now be careful right now. I have ammunition now. I'm ammunition.
We're going to play our next song anyway, because I know yourself and Derek knew Liam Reilly very well. So
yeah,
we'll play this song and then you can have a chat about Liam after. So
thank you for doing that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I was 18 years old when I went down to Dublin with a fistful of money and a cartload of dreams. Take your time, said me father, stop rushing like hell, and remember all is not what it seems to be. For there's fellas what cut you for the coat on your back, or the watch that you got from your mother. So take care, me young bucko, and mind yourself well. Will you give this sweet note to me brother? At the time Uncle Benji was a policeman in Brooklyn. Me father, the youngest, he looked after the farm. When a phone call from America said send a lad over, me old fella said sure it wouldn't do any harm. For I've spent my life working this dirty old ground for a few pints of porter and the smell of the pound. Sure, maybe there's something you'll learn or you'll see, and you can bring it back home, make it easy on me. So I landed at Kennedy when a big yellow taxi carried me and me bags through the streets and the rain. Well, me poor heart was thumping around with excitement, and I hardly even heard what the driver was saying. We came in the short parkway through the flatlands of Brooklyn to my uncle's apartment on East 53rd. I was feeling so happy, I was humming a song, and I sang You're as Free as a Bird. Well, to shorten the story, what I found out that day, Uncle Benji got shot down in an uptown foray. And while I was flying my way to New York, poor Benji was lying in a cold city morgue. So I phoned up the old fella and told him the news. I could tell he could hardly stand up in his shoes, and he wept as he told me, go ahead with the plan, and not to forget, be a proud Irishman. So I went up to Nelly's beside Fordham Road, started to learn about lifting the load. But the heaviest thing that I married that year was the bittersweet thoughts of my hometown so dear. I went home that December, cause me old fella died, and to borrow the money from Phil on the side, and sure all the bright flowers and brass couldn't hide the poor wasted face of my father. I sold up the old farmyard for what it was worth, and into my bag stuck a handful of earth. And I boarded a plane, and I caught me a train, and I found myself back in the US again. It's been 22 years since I set foot in Dublin. The kids know to use the correct knife and fork, but I'll never forget the green grass and the rivers as I keep law and order on the streets of New York. La 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 la
Lovely. Well done, Milo. Well done, all.
Well done, guys.
Well done, everyone. Yeah.
What a song.
Yeah, so I think we all knew Liam Reilly and the sadness we all feel at his passing. And I think a lot of what we talked about it remains unfulfilled, because I don't think Liam really, in the last few years, found the creativity that was there in his person earlier in his career. But all the songs that he wrote, particularly for the Wolf Tones over the years, were wonderful ballads. And that one in particular, because he knew of a very strong and long association with the New York City Police Department, and particularly with the Emerald Society Police Band. And it went back to 1963, when I first met Inspector Pierce Marr at the Roses Flea Festival in 1963. And I think he captured what many Irish Americans feel about America itself. They feel a pride, and they want to defend that country and offer something to communities. And Irish people, when they left this country, were always forced to do so when they found newfound homes across the United States. I think he wrote a great song. Any ballad that he wrote and put his mind to have been incredibly successful, because they're just good songs, good melodies, and good lyrics. And it's with sadness that I have to say that about it. I'm not sure that you were in touch with Liam quite recently. Tell us about that, Roy.
Well, I spoke to him about 2 weeks ago on the phone. We had a long conversation about all different things. Everything from the songs he had written, to working with Gus Dudgeon, to out in Nashville with Pete St. John, doing the thing for Imro, loads of different things. But I had a connection with Liam. Liam must have played 25 or 30 song collector sessions with me around Ireland, and he came to Las Vegas for the Guinness World Record we all did with the Black Donnellys back in 2014. But Liam was on the plane, and he came out to be part of that, and we broke a Guinness World Record. But Liam, as well as being such a prolific writer, he had this way of, when he wrote, of capturing how the Irish felt at the time, and his songs still stand up now,
The Flight of the Earls.
Flight of Earls, Boston Road, Streets of New York, Second Violin, Raining in Paris, all those brilliant songs. Ireland, and for the Eurovision, with Somewhere in Europe in 1990. The following year, he wrote Could It Be That I'm in Love for Kim Jackson, who represented Ireland in Eurovision as well. Just a prolific writer, but he had a way of capturing it. And as songwriters go, we'd all love to have one song that became part of Irish identity, part of the soul of your country. Liam gave so many of those that those songs will live on forever. and his legacy and his music are going to outlive every one of us. Like, it's going to be there for a long time. And you know, I had a lot of tears on Saturday, just less than a week ago, when I got the news of Liam's passing. But it's been so uplifting for the last few days to see the tributes and the love and everything pouring in for Reilly, because he nothing more than he deserves. But I watched his funeral online because we couldn't be there over COVID restrictions, and the Emerald Society, who you mentioned, the president sent an email of how much the streets of New York meant to them. Like, they sing at weddings and christenings and funerals and everything. And a few years ago, they flew Liam out and the rest of Bagatelle out, and they gave him an award for that song, which was great. And I remember talking to him about it. Liam was very witty, as you know, Derek. He was very funny. And he said, you know, I'll never pay for a parking ticket again in New York. You know, like he had a kind of a funny way about him too, you know. But he'd be sadly missed, Derek. I think we'd all agree on that. I miss being able to pick up the phone and ask him, pick his brains about one of his songs, or just advice, or just like he was a veteran from performing for 40 odd years. Like, he called me up a few years ago, Derek, and said, Roy, Bagatelle are doing the 40th anniversary tour. We're doing the Cork Opera House. You're on it. You're doing it. I was like, man, I'm delighted too, you know. And I showed Wicklow with him as well. And I just have so many great memories with the man, the legend, let's call him that, what he is. He'll be sadly missed, but like, I knew Liam for a decade maybe, but you go back a lot further, given the Wolf Tones, Boston Nose, Floyd of Earls, and Streets of New York. But you knew him as a younger man as well, you know. And
well, I think a lot of credit. I always believed that Oliver Berry was our manager back, and Oliver had a great eye for talent, and he had two great bands in the 60s, Sean Dunphy and the Homedowners, and the Freshmen. The Freshmen were a wonderful band. And he recognized the talent in Bagatelle. And he was a man that brought him to a level of popularity here in Ireland and elsewhere. But I think that really put Liam on the map in terms of playing music and performing live. I know Liam spent a good long time in Baltimore, in Maryland, and I remember him telling me one time that it was somebody asked him to play in the streets in New York. He said, by the Wolf Tones, and he said, he said the Wolf Tone song. He said, he says, I wrote that. No, you didn't. He says, he said the Wolf Tones wrote that, and that was he had a couple of instances that happened, because when he was out in America, he wouldn't have been that well known across America, and but as you rightly say, I think probably in terms of songs that he wrote, the Streets of New York enters the heritage of Irish ballads, and becomes part. And when you hear words being added to it, as I've heard, and new verses to be written to it, okay, you know that song is part of tradition. It's there forever.
And somewhere in Dublin as well. That's become an anthem too. You know,
yes.
Like, I mean, he's just written so many brilliant songs, and you know, they were all from one man. You know, he didn't nothing against people co-writing songs or anything. I'm just talking about Liam. Like, all the melodies and the lyrics, they were all from one man. Like, he wrote all of them just himself. Like, you know, and like, but Liam was unique, Derek, because he ticked so many boxes. Like, you know, you have great songwriters who wouldn't be great singers, or great singers and not great songwriters. Liam had the voice, that unique voice. He was a master on piano, the ability to write hit after hit. And as I mentioned, like, to make him, like, there's no greater compliment for a songwriter than to have one of your songs become part of your country's identity. And yet Liam gave so many of those. Like, I mean,
yeah, that's right.
He was a total legend. Like,
and that's the highest compliment you can pay to any artist
so.
in the world. It's the highest compliment. And I want to thank you, Liam, or Roy, for coming on the show. But I also want to say to you that you're a man that loves your tradition, and you have a passion for the music. Don't ever lose it. And hopefully,
Derek, it's in me, you know.
I hope you'll still have it when you're a few years older and closer to my own age.
Well, let me draw something back to you as well, so that I wanted to say to you, just about lyrics in the songs and stuff. Am I right in saying you wrote Bruna Barnia, Newgrange?
I did, yeah, I wrote that song, yes.
Well, there's a line in that it hits me every time, and it's, from your pillars of grandeur, an answer is sought, when the tomb of the pharaohs was only a thought. Irish folk and their labour looked up from the vine to see standing a monument that would not yield to time. I mean, if that's not poetry, I don't know what is, because for so many reasons, it's how long the Irish history goes back, the pride in it, and how it's going to be around for so long more. And you like, that's yours, you know. And I feel as an Irishman, I feel that because it says so much in 4 lines, you know. And that's only one little stanza.
I was very fortunate, Roy. Back in the 60s, I was playing in the old Shieling in Dublin, and it was the late 60s, and a lady came to the show, and she said, my dad works out in Newgrange. Her name is Kelly, and she said, I'd like you to come out and see this, what we've discovered. And I went out there and I met the man who excavated and found the lintel box, and with his daughter Claire O'Kelly, and I never forget the experience. And actually, I had with me 2 members of the New York Police Department. They came with me. They happened to be here in Ireland at that time. Mike McCrory and. I just can't think of the name of the man that was with them, but it was from that time I was inspired by the fact of the great antiquity of the place, but also of the artistic representations that were there. And the thing that always intrigued me was why so many gold coins were found at Newgrange, and you know, there's lots of theories put forward to it, but why they were found. But I think Claire O'Kelly has probably the one that's the most honest. She said Newgrange used to attract tourists 2,000 years ago from Europe, and they all put the money there to be remembered and wished on it. And no, there's no written text to tell us that's true, but I'm sure that it's as good as explanation for as you'll ever find. But I want to thank you for mentioning that, and I want to thank you for coming on the show. And maybe somebody, Maris, you'd like to say a word to Roy before he goes.
Thanks very much, Roy, and lots of nice comments there. And actually, Andy Cooney sent in a comment there. He said that Liam sent him a song called "The Beer and the Bible."
That's right. I got that from Liam in Las Vegas. Actually, we were after breaking the Guinness World Record with the Donnellys, and you guys were part of that as well, and so many other bands. It wasn't just us; it was bands from Ireland and Canada and America and everything. But myself and Liam slipped away to have a coffee and celebrate, you know. And he said to me, "You should do my song, The Bear and the Bible." And I wasn't aware of the song. And he said, I said, "What's it about?" And he said it was about the Irish guys in Cricklewood and Kilburn and all those places where they went away to, you know, earn a living or to you know, find a fortune, whatever we want to call it. And they would be kicked out of their lodgings in the morning. And as the song says, if there's not 1,000 before you, you got the job. And if they didn't, they hung out in the pub or the church. So it was back to the Bear and the Bible. They weren't allowed back to their lodgings till nighttime. But that's where that went. But, you know, Derek, I want to thank you as well, because you did give me a start over in America with a lot of the gigs. and I always love the chats and the stories. And
when we get you back, we get you back.
You've got you've got the secret weapon there with Damaris as well on banjo, and she's great for organising the gigs too. But before I go, a lot of your viewers might not know this, and I wanted to bring it up. You told me in Florida about your time with Luke Kelly and how yourself and Luke used to travel to the Irish soccer matches abroad. You know.
Yes, yeah.
And I wanted to say this just as a joke. I don't mean it to come across badly now or anything, because I love the song Raglan Road, and I know you have a different opinion on that. But just because I was chatting to Dave Brown earlier from the Black Donnellys, and he said, you got to tell the story, man. So I said, okay, I'll bring it up. You know, if Derek stops me, that's okay. You know? But we spoke about Raglan Road and down in Four Green Fields in Tampa.
Yes,
I'm sorry to see that's gone as well. But you said about yourself and Luke being pals and the soccer games and all that. And it was actually, Damaris, was you actually. You set this up because you said, tell Roy about the mass card and everything. And you said you put down Let Grief Be a Fallen Leaf on the mass card. And, you know, to be fair now, we had a few Guinness in us at this stage. And the fool here says to Derek Warfield, why'd you write that when you don't like Raglan Road? And you said, oh, well, I did it for Luke. I don't really like the song Raglan Road. And I said, oh, I love the song. Why don't you like it? And you said, because it's called after, the road is named after Lord Raglan. Again, lads, fool here says, and Derek, who was Lord Raglan? He was a murdering bastard. I got the whole thing. I should have said no. I got the whole thing just to end on a bit of a, you know, just to give it a laugh. But guys, thank you for having me on. Thanks for remembering our friend Liam Reilly. It's very important to remember the guys who did that. Thanks for, you know, asking me about my own songs and everything. But I hope I get to see in Ireland or in America or wherever it's going to be when this whole thing goes away and we can get back doing it. I love what you're doing, keeping the music alive and the stories. And Derek, I would sit and talk to you forever. Actually, one more thing before I go. I love you. If I can, Derek, just before I go away. I rang you at Christmas there just to say Happy Christmas and stuff. And then it's a credit to all you guys. The Spanish Lady that you put out recently is one of the best versions I've ever heard of the song.
Have you got it there, Maris? Have you got it?
Hold on now, before you do that now, hold on.
Yeah.
Great version, great delivery, great everything. But Derek, I asked you about the verse. And I think it's important, again, just to get back to the history of the songs and stuff. You had the extra verse about she's no mat for the paddle squaddy and all that. And I'd never heard that verse before. Would you mind shedding a bit of light on that for us before I go? Where'd you get that from?
Well, a paddle squaddy was an British Army guy that would guard Dublin Castle, which was Dublin Castle was the seat of English power in Ireland, and a paddle squaddy would have been the Dublin slang name for these guys. Like the paddle was a tiny river that flew under that flowed underneath the castle.
That's right, because you have the song "Down by the River Paddle." We had whiskey, stout, and coddle.
I would like the song itself. Nobody knows who wrote that song, and nobody. But like as we all know, when songs like in terms of popularity go into the medium, they are added to, and they're changed down through the years. And the Spanish Lady has many different verses added to it over the years. So the paddle squaddies were some fellas that would have been looked on with a little bit of kind of disdain. They were, you know, the paddle squaddies. He's a paddle squaddie.
Okay. This is why I always love your company. I always learn something when I'm leaving your company, and I hope we can.
I think it's great that Napper Tandy, like, it also reminds us that Napper Tandy was was such a great character in his life. He was larger than life. He was a wonderful businessman. He had great plans for Ireland. He was a great character. But his importance is there because he's mentioned in the song. His house was known by every Dubliner, and that's. But that's the song. So once
that's
again,
when you know when they were roamed by Napper Tandy's house, they know where they were passing.
Right, guys.
Damaris, you're dead right because
we better move on to the puzzle squaddy.
Well, listen, Dave Brown left a comment. Dave Brown left a comment about this because I love chatting about the songs. You're kicking me off here, I know. And Derek loves chatting about the songs. And Dave Brown from the Black Dandies left a very funny comment earlier. He said, "Oh God, the two of you guys are getting together. I'll check in on Sunday morning. You still be going."
Good night. Thanks, Lee.
Thanks a million for coming.
Thank you so much. And all the best for the new year, guys. And thank you for having me.
You too. Happy New Year.
Great to have you.
Take care.
Happy New Year.
God bless you.
See you, Roy. Thanks.
As I rode out to Dublin city at the hour of 12 of the night, we should have seen but the Spanish lady washing her feet by candlelight. First she washed them, then she dried them over a fire of amber coals. In all my life I ne'er did see a maid so sweet about the souls. Whack for the tooraloora laddie, whack for the tooraloora lay. Whack for the tooraloora laddie, whack for the tooraloora lay. He stopped to look, but the watchman saw me and he said, "Young fella, the night is late. Along with you home, or I'll wrestle you straight way through the bridewell gate." I blew a kiss to the Spanish lady, hot as the fire of amber coals. In all my life I ne'er did see a maid so sweet about the souls. Whack for the tooraloora laddie, whack for the tooraloora lay. Whack for the tooraloora laddie, whack for the tooraloora lay. Now she's no mutt for a puddle squaddy with her ivory comb and her mantle fine. She may go wife for the provost marshal, drunk on brandy or claret wine. I got a look from the Spanish lady, hot as the fire of amber coals. And all my life I ne'er did see a maid so sweet about the souls. Whack for the tooraloora laddie, whack for the tooraloora lay. Whack for the tooraloora laddie, whack for the tooraloora lay. As I went out to Dublin city as the hour of dawn was o'er, we should have seen but the Spanish lady, I was weary and footsore. First she coaxed me, then she chid me, and she laughed at my sad plight. And all my life I ne'er did see a maid so sweet as on that night. Whack for the tooraloora laddie, whack for the tooraloora lay. Whack for the tooraloora laddie, whack for the tooraloora lay. I wandered north and I wandered south through Stony Batter and Patrick's Close, up and around by the Gloucester Diamond and home by Napper Tandy's house. Old age has laid her hand on me, cold as a fire of a she-coal. But where is the lovely Spanish lady, neat and sweet about the soul? Whack for the tooraloora laddie, whack for the tooraloora lay. Whack for the tooraloora laddie, whack for the tooraloora laddie, whack for the tooraloora laddie, whack for the tooral, whack for the tooral, whack for the tooraloora laddie.
The Spanish Lady.
Lovely.
Yeah,
Very
great,
good.
great.
Well done, guys.
Cormac, I forgot you were there at all.
Recorded
I
during
was there in
lockdown.
spirit.
Yes.
There in spirit.
Actually, it's about time we heard a song from Cormac as well, actually. So here we go.
There you go.
Here we go. Yes.
Hello to Brendan Keenan out there. He's watching or listening and watching.
Also, thanks to Brendan for sharing and helping us out with some of our videos and trad stuff and everything. Thanks, Brendan. Okay, here comes Cormac.
Absolutely.
He sits on the corner of Beggar's Bush, astride of an old packing case, and the dolls at the end of the planks were dancing as he crooned with a smile on his face. La da da da, come hey go hey, wishing me hard it was Sunday. Ba da da da, drinking buttermilk all the way, whiskey on a Sunday. His tired old hands worked the wood in vain, and the puppets they danced up and down. It's a far better show that you ever will see in the fanciest theatre in town. Da 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 da, come hey go hey, wishing me hard it was Sunday. Da 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 da, drinking buttermilk all the week, whiskey on a Sunday. In 1902, old sad Davy died, and the song can be heard no more. And the tree dancing dolls in the dustbin were thrown, and the bank went to mend the back door. Da 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 da, come hey go hey, wishing me hard it was Sunday. Da 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 da, drinking buttermilk all the week, whiskey on a Sunday. On some stormy night, if you're passing that way, with the wind blowing up from the sea, you can still hear the song of old sad Davy as he croons to his dancing love tree. Ba da da da, come hey go hey, wishing me hard it was Sunday. Da 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 da, drinking buttermilk all the week, and it's whiskey on a Sunday. Da 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 da, drinking buttermilk all the week, and it's whiskey on a Sunday.
Lovely, Cormac.
Thank you. Well done,
Well
guys.
done, Cormac. Great job, pal.
Cormac, I think it's your turn now to speak because we're going to, Andreas is going to sing Galway to Graceland next. And
yes,
I just wanted, you're a huge fan of Elvis.
Yes.
Tell us
Absolutely.
why. Tell us why.
Well, I mean, it's songs over the year. Like, I mean, he started the ball back in the 50s, you know, and I just loved his music. I loved his presence, the whole package that he done, you know, and I still love him today. And you know, we won't go into all that about Bob, but yeah, I still love him, and you know, it's his birthday today. About Bob, I'll private message you, Andreas.
Please do, yeah.
Please God, now in the end of March, we'll be we're performing in Memphis, and
yes,
looking forward to that, and hopefully
Absolutely.
that there'll be a little more movement for performers by then. But we're going to do 2 shows, and they'll be distant to people in the theatre. You know, if the distance thing is still operating then, but we have made provisions for the fact that might be the case So, but I know we'll all look forward to performing in Memphis, and but I know it's special for you being a real Elvis. Well, I mean, everybody loved Elvis. There were,
Absolutely.
you know, you had to like some of his songs, no matter who you were. Even I remember when we were young, my grandmother, who was very old-fashioned in her ways, and she said to me, she said, "Oh, what's Elvis Presley? Oh, I heard him singing that song. He's not bad at all."
Yes, and as you know, Derek, yourself.
And I said, "What song was he singing?" She said, "Are you lonesome tonight?" And and she said, "I used to sing that song myself when I was a young woman. It was out years ago," she said. So I don't know what year that was. It was probably in the 60s, early
in the 50s,
60s.
Yeah. And again, like he used to love an old Irish ballad. You know, he used to always sing "Take Me Home Again," Kathleen, I think was his song. He loved the Irish music. I think Phil Coulter, maybe Roy backed me up on that one. I'm not sure. I think Phil Coulter wrote a song for him, for Elvis. I think back in the day.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, you know. But he had a soft spot for Ireland as well, you know, which is great. So
well, I think he got that. I know I told the story before. He got that from Olive Bale, Lord Wrestler. Olive was a ballad singer from Rathcoole, and she's the only one that I know that got to meet Elvis, and she was in Graceland, and she was singing all sorts of songs, and because he loved the Irish songs, and you know. She was told by the people, you know, have you enjoyed the company, and they had a little bit of a party, but don't ask Elvis to sing, you know. So, but and then Elvis, and she said, Olive got a few drinks now, and she said, now I'm singing all the songs. You want me to sing another one? He wanted to sing Danny Boy, and she had to sing "I Take Me Home Again," Kathleen, and How Long About the Song. She said, "It's about time you sang fucking one yourself now."
Language, Timothy.
It's a family show, Derek.
Yes.
Well, that's what Olive said.
That's what she said. And she told me that story herself. I said, only you would say that to somebody, and actually, you know, would be able to get away with it. So if I said it, I'd be thrown out of the place.
Right. Yeah. And just a clarification there on Roy, Phil Coulter did write a song. He wrote "My Boy" for Elvis. Yeah. A song called "My Boy." Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
Very good.
Well, here's the Galway to Graceland. Have you got it there, Doris? Have you got something?
Yeah, sure. And thanks. And I know Jim requested this one, but Jim is actually on this one as well. So, and he was on the original recording. So, thanks for giving us a dig out with this one, Jim.
And I won't.
2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4.
She dressed in the dark. She whispered amen. She was pretty and pink, like a young girl again. 20 years married, but she never thought twice. She sings out of the door, walked into the night, and silver winds carried her over the sea, from the west coast of Ireland to west Tennessee, to be with her sweetheart. She left everything, from Norway to Queensland, to be with the king. She was humming Suspicion, that's the song she liked best. She had Elvis and London tattooed on her breast. When they landed in Memphis, her heart beat so fast. She dreamed for so
Great job there, Andreas. Well done.
Yeah, beautiful. Well done. Well done to all.
Yeah. You did a great job with that song. Yeah, very good. Are we sound on or is sound there?
No, Andreas Andreas just having technical issues there, so he'll be logging in a few minutes there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And man, I see you've got some requests there or some birthdays there.
Enjoyed that now. And loads of comments for that song. Happy birthday, Elvis. 86.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Where were we?
Yeah.
Black and Tan.
Okay.
Lovely.
Well, of course, we remember this song from 2020 and its popularity, reminding the world indeed that the army of terror that was sent to Ireland back in the 1920 to put an end to Irish aspirations for freedom and liberty. There are lots of songs about the Black and Tans, some of them written by people who suffered at the hands of the terror and the horror indeed of their place here in Ireland. Many of them reminding us all of the sadness of so many people that suffered indeed when they were here in the country. The Black and Tans were an army that were made up of many of the forces who'd fought in the First World War, and they were given a free hand to exercise. They were not accountable to anybody for their actions, with the result that thousands of Irish people indeed suffered at their hands, death, injury, and many towns, villages, and cities were burned by them. So it's a black mark indeed on the reign of terror that England exercised on this country in sending such an army to Ireland. One of the many, but this song is a song of resistance to that terror. And here's the ballad, written by a famous man, a Dublin man, Dominic Behan, a brother of Brendan Behan, the playwright, and he wrote this ballad. So here it is, Get Out Your Black and Tans.
I was born on the Dublin street where the loyal drums did beat. The loving English feet, they walked all over us. And every single night when me da would come home tight, he'd invite the neighbours out to witness chorus. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show you I'm proud, you won medals down in Flanders. There how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lakes of Shamble. Come let us hear you tell how you slandered great Parnell when you taught them well and truly persecuted. What are the sneers and jeers that you loudly let us hear when our leaders of 16 were executed? Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show you how you won medals down in Flanders. How the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lakes of Shamble. Come tell us how you slew them owl Arabs 2 by 2. Like the Zulus, they had spears and bow and arrows. How bravely you faced one with your 16-pounder gun, and you frightened them damn natives to the marrow. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show you how you won medals down in Flanders. How the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lakes of Shamble. The time is coming fast and I think the day is near when each O'Neill he will run before us. And if there be a need, well our kids will say Godspeed with a verse or two of singing this fine chorus. the Lyle drums did beat. The loving English beat, they walked all over us. And every single night when me da would come home tight, he'd invite the neighbours out to witness chorus. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show you white, how you won medals down at Flanders. How the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lakes of Kilshandra. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show you white, how you won medals down at Flanders. How the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lakes of Kilshandra.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Over.
Welcome back.
Oh,
Welcome back, Andreas.
Yeah, there's internet issues here in Calvin. Don't worry, I paid the electricity. Don't worry.
Good man.
Unlike my last rant before Christmas, I got over that very swiftly.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
I want to say that this is the first show of 2021, and we hope that we won't be doing them for too long more. But as we continue to do them, I want to remind all the people that have supported us of our thanks and our appreciation for all that you've given to us over the last year. It's very thoughtful of many of you that have sent us good wishes, and to Milo and Damaris and Andreas who do a live show and have done a live show over November and December on Saturday nights. I think on behalf of them, I'd like to thank you for their generosity towards them. We, as you probably know, as entertainers and performers, the livelihood of many of us has been taken away over the last year. And, essentially what most people like ourselves like to do is to sing and to present our music on stage. And that's been a big change in our life, that we can't do that. But we're grateful for the fact that we have Mr. Zoom, and we were thankful to everybody that makes it happen in the technical world, and particularly to Milo and Damaris, who spend so much time in dealing with the technical issues. So I'll hand back to you, Damaris.
Yeah, well done, guys.
Yeah, well done. You're on mute there, Damaris.
You're on mute, Damaris.
Okay. I'm not muting anymore now. Thanks to everybody that helped us put all the tracks together and all the videos together, Brendan and Luca and everybody involved. And a special thanks to Roy Buckley for coming on our show tonight. And thanks to everyone, of course, thanks to everybody that watches in every week. There's some people that are just faithful and coming on air every week to watch us. So we thank you very much. And we'll be back next week. Myself and Milo will be live a live-o tomorrow night. So
yes,
10 o'clock Irish time. So we'll see you all then. And we'll finish off with a wee song from Andreas, The Fields of Athenry.
Happy Friday, folks.
Okay, let me find it first.
Oh, no problem. Sure, we'll keep talking.
Yes. I thought you were stuck for words there, Andreas.
No, me never. All of a sudden, I'm back, Derek. I'm back. It's 2021.
Yeah. Well,
okay, we're good to go. Okay.
Oh, look at she came in straight away there. Right.
My lonely prison wall, I heard a young man calling. Michael, they are taking you away, for his told your valiant's gone, so the young might see the morn. Now the prison ship lies waiting in the bay. Low lie the fields of Athen Rye, where once we watched the small free birds fly. Our love was on the wing, we had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely round the fields of Athen Rye. My lonely prison wall, I heard a young man calling. Nothing matters, Mary, when you're free. Against the famine and the crown, I rebelled, they ran me down. Now you must raise our child with dignity. Low lie the fields of Athen Rye, where once we watched the small free birds fly. Our love was on the wing, we had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely round the fields of Athen Rye. My lonely harbor wall, she watched the last star falling as the prison ship sailed out against the sky. Sure she'll live and hope and pray for a love in Botany Bay. It's so lonely round the fields of Athen Rye. Low lie the fields of Athen Rye, where once we watched the small free birds fly. Our love was on the wing, we had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely round the fields of Athen Rye. Low lie the fields of Athen Rye, where once we watched the small free birds fly. Our love was on the wing, we had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely round the fields of Athen Rye. It's so lonely round the fields of Athen Rye.
Great stuff. Great stuff.
Awesome, guys.
I said we have a special guest there, have we?
Oh,
Just woke up from her nap.
oh my God, she's getting so big.
Tell the guys, good job. Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
Say hello.
Hey, hi.
Yes.
Hi,
Thumbs
Kelly.
up.
Yes. Say hello to all the folks.
Say hi. Wave.
Oh, look. Oh, my God.
Just having our chocolate. Say hi, everybody. Did they do a good job on the song?
Yes.
Do a good job. Good job. Thumbs up. Are you going to say anything? Chocolate has taken over.
Yes.
Oh, I don't blame her.
I know.
And she got so old is she now, Cormac?
She's 18 months now.
18 months.
Nearly 19, is she? Nearly 19, yeah.
Yeah.
Say hi, everybody.
Is she saying many words, Cormac?
She's saying loads, yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah, loads.
Great.
Yeah, she's saying a good few words.
Just not at the moment.
She understands everything she does, don't you? Don't you understand? Give everybody thumbs up. I give them a thumbs up. She's gone shy. Oh. All right, folks. Well,
On that happy note, we'll see you all next Friday. And we'll see you all tomorrow night.
Happy New Year.
Don't
New Year, everybody.
Don't forget, before we go, don't forget now, folks, that all the recordings are available for download, and you'll get them there. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow night and watch Andreas or Damaris and Milo for the special show. And please God, when the lockdown gets a little less, Andreas will be able to join them. But we wish you all well, and thanks once again. Really appreciate you tuning in. And bye, Kaylee. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Stay safe, everybody.